Welcome back to AI Solutions, the pathway to profit. Today, we're tackling what I genuinely believe is the single most critical strategic choice you will make when adopting AI. This is the build versus buy versus augment decision. Now, don't let the terminology fool you. This isn't some backroom IT discussion. This is a fundamental boardroom level decision that defines your budget, your timeline, your competitive edge, and ultimately your success. What I see time and time again is that getting this right puts a company on the fast track to real, measurable profit. But getting it wrong, I've personally seen a promising logistics company burn through $8 million and 2 years trying to build when they should have augmented, only to be lapped by their competition. This choice separates the winners from the wannabes. So today, we're going to break it down and give you the clarity to make the right call. All right, let's start with the first path on our map, the build option. I like to compare this to deciding you're going to build a high-performance car engine, not from a kit, but from raw blocks of metal. This is the path where you hire teams of PhD-level data scientists and machine learning engineers. You're not just writing code, you're conducting foundational research, sourcing massive proprietary datasets, and creating a model completely from scratch. The appeal? It's undeniable. You get total control, your own unique intellectual property, and a system tailored perfectly to your needs. But what I always caution is to look at the true cost. This is a multi-year journey with a 7 or 8-figure budget, intense competition for rare talent, and frankly, a high risk of failure. It's a monumental undertaking. So if build is forging an engine from raw metal, let's walk down the next path. This is the buy option. I like to think of this as leasing a brand new, reliable car straight from the dealership. It's a ready-made, off-the-shelf AI product, often a SaaS solution that you can just switch on. What I see this working brilliantly for are those common business problems. Think marketing automation or a basic FAQ chatbot. The major advantages are speed and predictability. You can be live in a week, not 2 years, with a clear monthly cost. But here's the trade-off you might find. It's not your car. Customization is minimal, and you have to be comfortable with your data living on someone else's platform. This is a great choice for what I call table stakes capabilities. The things you need just to play the game, but not what makes you win. But that brings us to the third path, the one that I find is a game changer for most businesses. This is the augment approach. If build is forging an engine from metal and buy is leasing a car, think of augment as taking a world-class pre-built engine like a GPT-4 and then becoming the master mechanic who tunes it for your specific race car. What you're doing here is leveraging a powerful existing foundation model and customizing it. This is where you hear terms like fine-tuning, which is essentially training the model on your company's unique data, or using APIs to plug that AI power directly into your existing workflows. You might find this is the sweet spot. It offers a huge degree of customization and competitive advantage, but without the multi-year timelines and astronomical costs of building from scratch. It's a powerful, accessible middle way that balances speed with specificity. So we have our 3 paths mapped out. Let's look at the first and most critical signpost on this journey: cost and time to value. This is where I find the decision often becomes much clearer. For the build path, you're looking at a massive upfront capital investment. Think salaries, data infrastructure, with a return on investment that could be years down the road. On the other end, the buy path is wonderfully predictable. What you'll find here is a straightforward operating expense, like a monthly subscription that delivers value almost immediately. But that sweet spot, Augment, is different again. I like to see this as a moderate, project-based investment, but its real power is how swiftly it creates value. And that's the crucial point here. We have to look beyond the initial price tag, because in the fast-moving world of AI, speed to market isn't just a benefit, it is a critical component of value itself. Now that we've looked at the cost, the next signpost we need to examine is even more important: strategic advantage. What I always ask my clients to do is to ask themselves one simple, powerful question. Is this AI capability part of our secret sauce, or is it just a supporting utility? If the AI is going to be your competitive moat, the very thing that makes your business unique and better than everyone else, then you simply cannot outsource that core advantage. That's where build or augment become your only real options. What I find works well is to think of your business as a high-end restaurant. You would never, ever buy your signature dish recipe from a supplier. You'd craft it, perfect it, and guard it with your life. That's your secret sauce. But would you build your own accounting software from scratch? Of course not. You'd buy the best one off the shelf because it's a utility. So you might find it helpful to ask, is this AI project the signature dish, or is it the accounting software? Answering that makes the path forward incredibly clear. So we've navigated cost and strategy. The next landmark to look for is your internal resources, your data, and your team. What I see time and again is that the build path is incredibly hungry. Build it with care, because it is incredibly hungry. It demands a feast of massive, clean, proprietary data and a team of elite research scientists to make it work. On the flip side, what I like about the buy option is its simplicity. It asks almost nothing from you on the data or talent front. But here's where Augment really shines, hitting that sweet spot. You might find it doesn't need a mountain of data, but thrives on good quality, domain-specific data, the kind you likely already have. And it doesn't require PhDs. It needs skilled developers who can work with APIs, a talent pool that's far more accessible. It's about leveraging what you have, not inventing what you don't. And this brings us to what I believe is the new reality of AI's strategy. And it's why I see the Augment path becoming the default choice for so many. Just a few years ago, if you wanted truly powerful AI, you had little choice but to attempt building that engine from the ground up. But what we're seeing now is a seismic shift, driven by the rise of these incredible foundational models from companies like OpenAI, Google, and a vibrant open source community. You might find it's no longer necessary to do that foundational work. These organizations have already spent the billions of dollars on R&D to build the core engine. Now, for the cost of an API call, you can effectively lease that multi-billion-dollar engine and focus all your resources on the final value-added layer, the custom tuning that makes it uniquely yours and solves your specific business problem. It's a fundamental change in the economics of innovation. Okay, another critical signpost on our journey And this one is often non-negotiable: security and data control. What I always find is that the build path offers the ultimate fortress. Your data, your models, everything stays within your own infrastructure. You have absolute sovereign control, which for industries dealing with highly sensitive information can be the only viable option. Now, if we look at the buy path, you're making a conscious decision to entrust your data to a third-party vendor. What I recommend here is deep due diligence. You need to be completely confident in their security posture. Then there's Augment, which I think offers a very compelling middle ground. You might find you can control exactly what data gets sent via an API, or even use private cloud deployments. You're leveraging their secure platform, but you're not just handing over the keys to the entire kingdom. It's about finding that right balance of risk and reward. Okay, to cut through all the theory, I want to give you a simple checklist that I use to guide this decision. Think of it as a quick mental decision tree. First, what I always look at is problem specificity. Is your problem something thousands of other companies face, or is it totally unique to you? A generic problem often points straight to buy. Second is strategic value. Is this a supporting utility or your core competitive differentiator? Your secret sauce. That answer will push you toward buy or augment. Third is the honest reality check. Resources. Do you have the multi-million-dollar budget, the elite team, and the vast data set for the build path? If not, that option is off the table. And finally, I ask about speed. Do you need to see value this quarter, or can you wait 2 years? What I find is that by asking these 4 questions, specificity, value, resources, and speed, the right path for your project often reveals itself. So what I like to do is make this tangible with a real-world example. Let's imagine a mid-sized e-commerce company selling outdoor gear. They want to create a personalized 24/7 customer support agent. Okay, let's walk them through the framework. Path 1. Build. What I find is that for a company this size, building their own foundational model isn't just difficult, it's financially impossible. It's off the table. Path 2. Buy. They could easily buy an off-the-shelf chatbot. The issue you might find, though, is that it's generic. It can answer about shipping times, but it has no clue about the specific waterproofing rating of their best-selling jacket. But now, what I really like to see is Path 3, Augment. They can take a powerful base model and fine-tune it on their own product manuals and past support tickets. In just a matter of weeks, they've created a highly effective, brand-specific support agent that knows their products inside and out, for a tiny fraction of the cost of building. So as our journey for today comes to a close, what I hope you're left with is a clear set of signposts. What I see working best is using that buy option for speed when tackling common problems we all face. You might find that the monumental build path is a journey to take only for the most strategic core mission projects where you have immense resources. But for most situations in this new AI landscape, I find that the augment strategy really is the default, offering that powerful and flexible middle way. It's about being smart, targeted, and fast. Thank you for walking this path with me today. Join us next time as we shift our focus from corporate profit to global impact. In episode 5, we'll explore AI for Good, a practical guide for nonprofits and charities, and look at how these same powerful tools can be used to solve some of humanity's biggest challenges.